Hello guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today, we're going to be doing part 3 of a Jurassic World Evolution 2 mod spotlights. We take a look at a bunch of different mods people have been making and compare them to their real-life fossil counterparts. So, today we've got a lot of new animals, new edits, and a couple new animals, so that'll be awesome for you guys. An aquatic and a non-dinosaur, so that'd be very awesome to see. But today we're going to be starting with a whole like clade kind of paleo edit. It's like Phelong's paleo edits, or Phelongs, I believe how I pronounce it. They did a whole edit of the 4 different genera of Pachycephalosaurs that are found in the game: the Dracorex, Homecephale, Stygimoloch, and Pachycephalosaurus. So that's pretty cool. We're going to get started with our smallest one, of course. We always get started with the smallest one. So we're going to be starting with Phelong's Homecephale. So look at this little guy. We have a good look at you and we get you walking in the sun. Let's just wait a little bit. Speed up. There we are, cool. So we can get a wonderful look at these guys. Look at these little cuties, little mans. So yeah, not too much different. So Homocephale, obviously being this little Pachycephalosaur from the Namek, we can see some definite change on the body. I think this one gives a better representation. We can see that the body's been made a lot more round. Dinosaurs are very charismatic for having those round bodies. Also the pubis has been pushed back as well and all that stuff. A little bit of a longer and thinner tail. But the main difference we can see here is definitely on the skull, because Homocephale, even though we have an incomplete skull, it is shown that the head is relatively flat like that. It gives it a very charismatic look. Very flat. Kind of different from other Pachycephalosaurs. And actually, it was actually believed that these guys were juvenile Prenocephalae, which is another larger Pachycephalosaur from the Namek in Asia. But they actually found juvenile Prenocephalae, and it showed that they had the dome that was charismatic of the group. Or these guys had these obvious flat heads. So it seems like that is not the case. So it seems these guys are definitely their own thing. Really cute though. But unlike Pachycephalosaurus, which has that whole growth stage thing, as we'll get into, but these guys are really wonderful. Not too many changes to the hands. I don't think we have the arms preserved on Homocephale. I know we have the skull, some of the back, and some other bits around here. I'm not sure if we do have the arms. Still really wonderful regardless. We can see the changes to the skull. Really, the main changes to the skull are the things that are obvious. As we can see, it can flare out here and much more flat. Really wonderful. And I love how the textures pop more than in the first game. And yeah, we can see the arms there. These guys are really weird. They still have those 5-fingered hands. I don't know if the last 2 have digits. I'm pretty sure, I mean not digits, nails. I don't think they have nails, but they have these really weird human-like hands, and it's funky. Do they have digits? I'm trying to get a good look on the thing. Can you see it? Oh wait, I don't think it does. Well, that's pretty cool. I think that's because of his edit as well, so it did wonderful. Look at your cheeky little man. So, anyway, that's going to be Phelong's first one off. We're just going to let them run away from the hatchery. So we're going to have a look at his next one. So going up in size a little bit, or going up age, we have got Dracorex. So look at this funky man. So let's look at this one over here. So we can see, look at this wonderful fella. We can see the body's been changed quite a bit. The body's been rounded quite a bit more to make it fit more the Pachycephalosaur kind of body plan. Really wonderful. And also the tail's been thinned out quite a bit. similar as well. The legs have been changed a little bit just to fit that little bit more bird-like look it has, and also fit the skeleton a little bit more. His hands, I don't think have been changed too much. Look at those funky hands. They look like human hands. The Pachycephalosaurus has really human hands, and it kind of freaks me out. But those could probably use some changes. But other than that, perfectly fine. But the main changes here you can see are in the skull. The head's been flattened quite a bit because Dracorex is not its own genus. It's actually a juvenile Pachycephalosaur, and it wasn't really growing that big dome that Pachycephalosaurus had yet. So it was very, very flat, but it compensate kind of really. It had a lot of these spiky bits coming out, and we can see they fit long, especially around the nose, around here. So the head's been flattened and also widened a little bit. It does look quite nice. Nice to have a little bit more accurate. Not Pachycephale, Dracorex. Really, really awesome. So you've got these two big ones here, and we all know Dracorex Hogwartsia was the name given to the genus because of Harry Potter. Was never really a big fan of fantasy things like Harry Potter, but I know some people are. It's just a pop culture thing. I don't mind. It's better than Thanos, let's just say that. But yeah, I really like how this one came out, and then you'll see in the Stygimoloch, as I get into that, we'll talk a little bit about the situation as it's kind of like looking through the growth stage. So this would be like a young Pachycephalosaur. Then we bring Stygimoloch out, and then it'll be a subadult. And then we'll bring Pachycephalosaurus out, and that'll be the adult. Though it does get more complicated, as I'll explain. But I'm really, really happy with how this guy came out with all the spikes and stuff. And the flat head and rounded head. Also the neck's been thinned up a little bit. Body rounded, tail a little bit leaner and meaner. Very, very nice. So we will let these guys run off and do their thing. I just want to move them out from the... What should be their thing? They're so very cute. I like having small animals. They really do fill up the enclosures. Anyway, we're going to have a look at Stygimoloch. So all of these four are being done by Fielding. Fairlong, I believe it's Fairlong. Just make sure you remember that. So we'll be releasing Stygimoloch. So let's get into the... I think we'll wait a little bit so we can see that growth stage happening. Let's just get you guys in the corner there. There we are. So we're going to have a good look at this guy. I know it's a little bit weird. He's like extremely top heavy, which is really, really weird. This is just part of the rig. Stygimoloch would have a much smaller skull comparatively to its body, and in real life it'd be probably like half that size. It's just how it depicted in the movie and how it fits on the rig. But anyway, we'll have a look at this guy. It looks really, really wonderful. You can see here, as I mentioned, it's a subadult Pachycephalosaur. Might be from a different species, since the one that is in the game here, or the main one from Hell Creek, is Wyomingus. But we have individuals that are like the same age or kind of growth stage as Wyomingus, but has these kind of charismatic spikes. So it is potentially a different species, which is Pachycephalosaurus Signonifer or something like that. So instead of being its own genus, it's just another species. But that's kind of the most recent conclusion, but it's neither here nor there. Could potentially be sexual dimorphism, but we do not really have the specimens to tell. Pachycephalosaurid remains very rare, especially for Pachycephalosaurus itself. So yeah, but anyway, we can see here that the dome that is charismatic of the genus is starting to come in. It's getting a bit rounded. You can see, I believe there's been like CAT scans to look how they grow, and they kind of just balloon out and growing on themselves. Really, really interesting how that happens. But it still has a lot of these spikes as well, which either keep as they grow up or potentially gets remodeled. The bone is remodeled into the dome. Still really, really interesting regardless. As I mentioned, the heads are way too big, but the body you can see has definitely been rounded, and Bit of a tummy tuck along with the pubis pointing out as well. Also see that long tail that looks really wonderful. Could possibly be a bit longer, but it is what it is. One thing as well, I think this is just the matter of the rig as well, is the hands are pronated, not pronated. So the pronated things clap, 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 as I'm going to you guys remember that. But they've got these really weird digit hands, and it was kind of funky. But yeah, they do have all 5 nails. A little bit weird, but still interesting regardless. And we can see the legs have had changed a bit as well. Just to better reflect the musculature of the leg. A little less like dinosaur, not dinosaur, mammal-like, a little bit more bird-like, but a little bit chunky, I think. This one's probably been the least edited of them all, but still nice regardless. Came out quite well. Rig editing would probably get rid of this big head. Don't need that big head. But anyway, we'll let them run off and do their thing. Hopefully they can run off soon, because I want to show off the last fielding edit. So I think he's going to do these edits in clades. So the first one he did is obviously the Pachycephalosaurus. And last but most definitely not least, we've got the largest of the Pachycephalosaurus. We got Pachycephalosaurus itself. So let's have a looky-loo. So let's have a look at this wonderful fellow. I'll get them in the light. There's one in the light there. Let's look at you. Really wonderful man. And we can see how much the skull has changed. It's a lot less rounded, you can see here if we look from the profile. Look at the other side. It's a little bit less domed, but it's more charismatic of the proper shape of how the keratin would have grown over it. Also the little horns and nubs that have come out around the back of the neck here, and how it connects to the neck looks about right. And we also see some more spikes and stuff that are still retained from juvenile, as you can see the Stygimolochs. It's still kept on the face, really gives it really charismatic look. You'll see the neck's got a bit of a tummy tuck. I might get a bit of posture than this. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, that's a little bit better. We can also see that the I keep classing out of that by accident. I'm sorry, guys, but we can see the body's being more rounded. Dinosaurs are very similar to birds. They tend to have that very round body that's kind of solid. They could still move it and stuff, but they were much more solid. They didn't have the lumbar vertebrae that mammals have. But we can see also the boots being exaggerated. It doesn't really have a boot because these are not ostrich. They're bird hip dinosaurs or ornithischians. They don't really have that pelvic pubic boot, but they do have their kind of bird-like hip where it kind of leans back that way, and you can kind of see it there. Also, the tail's been thinned up a wee bit. Another issue is kind of really the feet have been, I think, changed. The feet look a lot leaner and meaner. They fit better. It's really nice, unlike the Stygimoloch. Leaner and meaner. Again, the legs have been changed to slightly better fit the musculature. But since this is a movie animal, the hands are obviously pronated, and look even more stupidly human-like, kind of creeping me out. It literally just looks like human hands with big nails. It's quite creepy. But we know they would have had these 5 digits. Very interesting, regardless. But no, I don't think all of them would have had nails, so you could probably just fix that with the posturing and stuff, and it would be pretty much perfect. And I'm really liking how it looks compared to the Jurassic World Evolution 1 Pachycephalosaur. Even though it's pretty much the same model, it just feels a lot more like a real Pachycephalosaur because it's not walking around like a kangaroo. Really nice regardless, so I think we'll let them walk around and do their own thing. If you guys have a look at that. So look at that. Just looks much nicer in my opinion. Better reflects the fossils. So yeah, all the Pachycephalosaurids in here were done by Phelan, and we're going to be moving on to the lagoon. Since we've got a really cool animal, a new species this time. This one was done by Leaf. making his little bit of a foray into Jurassic World Evolution 2 modding. He's done a little bit of Jurassic World Evolution 1 modding, but mainly does Planet Zoo modding. So we made a really, really cool species here. We'll get into it. It's really, really awesome. So we are going to have a look at the surprise new animal. So let's see if we can get a good... So we have got here, this is everyone's favorite not shark, Helicoprion. So very, very interesting animal. So Helicoprion is a shark-like eugenodont fish, so its closest living relatives today are other cartilaginous fish, or fish with no proper bones, so all their bones are made of cartilage. It is closely related to animals such as... I think with the chimeras and ratfish and things like that. Very, very interesting. So, what's very awesome, we don't know most of what the skeleton looks like because they are cartilage and they don't preserve as well. But we do have some evidence of how it would look like in life. This is an outdated reconstruction of Helicoprion. Since in 2013 or something like that, let me check, 2013 reassessment, they scanned one of the tooth whorls, because they're often only described from these tooth whorls. We found some cartilage that helps allow us to better reconstruct the mouth. So it seems like there was the platycaudate, which is the technical term for the top jaw, kind of went all across the top here. And then we have the labial cartilage coming in here as well. And also the tooth whorl would have been kind of jacked in between that. So not much of it would have been showing in life. It would have been all covered by cartilage and soft tissue like that. So this kind of reconstruction, I believe, is quite outdated, but still looks really, really nice. Leaf always does a good job with his models. It's just cool that I also get to point out these inaccuracies as well. So it shows how our science is learning. So it's really, really awesome. So that's how we know that the mouth looks like. But we really don't know too much about it. But Helicoprion is very, very interesting. It itself is from the Permian, from the early to middle Permian, so it lived about 20 million years, as I mentioned. Its closest living relatives are the chimeras, even though they're quite distant. And people have always been wondering, what the heck is this tooth whorl? Because they've been found over and over and over again. It's quite common, but we never really find the rest of the body, other than that specimen I just mentioned. And there's been all sorts of reconstructions to try and figure out how that is. This is one of them. But we've kind of landed on the most recent one. If you guys look up Helicoprion, the most recent one kind of looks like a giant ratfish, with like it's almost like a sperm whale almost, and most of the tooth whorl is covered up by the jaw, so it isn't really sticking out like that. It's very, very interesting. So the reason they may have developed this, they believe it's an adaptation for eating soft-bodied prey such as nautiloids and ammonites, because they would pretty much have used the tooth whorl to kind of grab the soft parts of the nautiloid or the ammonite, and they would have just ripped it out from its shell. It's a very interesting adaptation. It's almost like the Permian version of a sperm whale, so it's very, very interesting convergent evolution there. And there are two species. There's, I believe, H. davinsii and H. bernisoni, and potentially H. ergosonomium, I believe that, which is believed to be valid because of the large tooth whorls, but we don't really know how valid that is. It's neither here nor there in terms of taxonomy, but we know there's at least two valid species. But yeah, we'll watch these guys swim, I think. Really, really wonderful animals. They fit on the Ichthyosaurus pretty well. I like to see it swim like that. Cool if we get like a bigger ichthyosaur, like Shonisaurus or Tenontosaurus or something like that, however you pronounce it. Tenodontosaurus, the big like 10-meter predatory one, that'd probably fit better. But anyway, these guys are found all over the world. Found in Western Australia, China, Texas, Nevada, Japan, Laos, Norway, global, which is very, very interesting. And yeah, just really, really cool animals in general, and I love seeing this swim about. Very, very awesome animal here. Good job, Leaf. I always love your mods. and it's cool to see stuff swimming around in the lagoon. Very, very wonderful. So yeah, now we're going to move on from our new species. We're going to move on to another paleo edit. So we have got, this one's by Netraptor. We have got Dryosaurus. So a very, very interesting boy. So we'll have a look at them while we'll... Oh, keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that? But anyway, we have got some edits for the Dryosaurus. We can see the head's been greatly shrunk down a bit. And the hands are obviously properly pronated. So clap, clap, clap. Did a good job. We can also see the body's been bulked up quite a bit and rounded out a bit. Dryosaurus, we don't know... we don't have an adult specimen of Dryosaurus, so we don't know exactly how big it grew. But the other specimens that we do have were subadults, so really just kind of things you'd kind of add adult features on, like maybe being slightly larger and smaller heads. You can kind of protect those growths. But here we can see it's very, very much looking like Camptosaurus, which is kind of a relative. It's one of those very, very early animals in terms of that line. You can see the hands as well, probably really, really wonderful. Probably didn't have digits, nails on digits 4 to 5 there, but it is what it is. You'll see the body's been thickened up quite a bit, and we can see the pelvic areas being kind of leaned, because these are ornithischians, so bird-hipped. So the parts that came out here come out like that. Really, really wonderful. That leaves a lot of space in the gut for big fermenting organs, like big intestines and big stomach to digest all the plants that it ate. We can see the tail's been thinned up quite a bit and exaggerated. We can see the legs have also been thinned up quite a bit. Because I think a lot of people really like to over-muscle dinosaur legs, but really it would have been quite thin. And a lot of the muscle would have been up here on top, as you can see here. You can see the muscles come down. All of this would be pretty much just tendon and soft tissue. You can see the hylux there and the 3 digits. Looks really, really wonderful. I'm a big fan of Dryosaurus. It's a very, very good place in our little enclosures here. And it adds enough to the little head and all as well. Very, very awesome. So we'll wait for these guys to walk away from our hatchery. So next we've got another new animal. So I'll give you a clue. This one's a non-dinosaur, but it's also from the Jurassic. So I think Herrerasaurus is a really good pick. And the Dryosaurus was done by Netraptor. This one was done by JWE2, which is obviously one of the most prolific Jurassic World Evolution 1 modders. So they made a return here, so that's very, very wonderful. So yeah, we're going to have a look at our next surprise animal. See if we can get a good picture of it in the sun. I think this would be a good one. But we can see this wonderful Postosuchus. So Postosuchus is a genus of Rausuchid, which was a group of like crocodile-like guys. These are kind of the theropods before they were theropods, even though they're more closely related to crocodiles than dinosaurs. They had a very interesting place in the ecosystem. They would have lived around... Postosuchus itself lived in North America during the late Jurassic, and they're in a clade called Pseudosuchia, which was a group of archosaurs that includes modern crocodilians, also Avimetatissaliae, which includes non-avian dinosaurs and birds, and also pterosaurs, things like that, a little bit later. And it seems like this guy came from the late Jurassic, so would have lived with early dinosaurs such as Coelophysis and preyed at animals such as Dicynodonts, or not Dicynodonts. Yeah, Dicynodonts, yeah. I'm questioning myself too much. But they would have fed on animals like Placerius and other animals like that. Really, really big animals. So There's been some controversy whether they were quadrupedal or bipedal, but they have very, very small arms, as you can see here, so they were most likely bipedal. And you can see they've got this very, very deep skull. It looks very, very much like a crocodile version of a T-Rex. Very, very vaguely similar, so that's pretty, pretty awesome. And also got pretty large too. Their total body length is believed to be about 4 to 5 meters long, or about 13 to 16 feet. And they have these very short limbs with small hands, which of course support the idea of them being bipedal. And they've estimated weight as being between 250 and 300 kilograms, or 550 to 660 pounds. And it also seems like it isn't depicted here. There would have been osteoderms along the body. If you want to see one with osteoderms, you could go back to Jurassic World Evolution 1. One of my mod spotlights had Postosuchus. I think it was one of the later ones. It had Postosuchus made by Mr. Trudon, and it had a lot of osteoderms that reflected in life. So this is a very, very smooth Postosuchus, but really, really awesome regardless. I just love the skull of it. It's got a very, very tall skull that really makes it look like really different from a crocodile. But it's a dino croc. It's really, really awesome. Postosuchus is definitely a very cool animal, and most people know it from Walking with Dinosaurs. But that was walking quadrupedally. But back then it was a little bit more debated whether it was quadrupedal or bipedal, but it seems bipedal won out, and that's the general consensus these days. It's still a really, really wonderful animal. Love Postosuchus. So hopefully you guys, I don't want you to go anywhere near. Okay, run off, do you think? So we've got another one. So that was done by Jasurba. Triceratops was this one was done by Thronaco, which has done a few other paleo edits in the past that I've mentioned, especially in the last update. So we're gonna have a look at his Triceratops. Wonderful. So let's let them walk out of their there we are, wonderful men's. Let's just get a bit shuffled up. I want to get a good image of them. Yes, I get it. I think we'll have a look at this one since he's walking off in the corner there. Really, really wonderful animal here. So we can see the changes to this guy. Seems like this is based off Prorosis, I believe, since it has the larger nasal horn and a thinner skull. So that's how you can tell Prorosis from Horridus. We can see that I really like how they did the frill here. And also these little spikes going down the frill there. It depends on the specimen. You get some with, some without. It's very, very interesting. See the changes on the beak here. Also changes to the body as well. Made a lot more round. The tail's been shortened up. Very, very much round. The legs, you can see, have been edited. It's got very, very big thighs. It's got thunder thighs. And then we can see, oh, that's really the thunder thighs. And yeah, much rounder feet. Though, I've got a comment on the feet. I've mentioned this a couple times. It seems like all 5 digits have got nails. Really, it would have been the first 3, and then 4 and 5 wouldn't have had nails. And they form this kind of horseshoe kind of hoof thing there. So it's kind of like the first 3 digits, and the last 2 wouldn't have digits, and there would have been soft tissue around there, so it would have been circular. Same with the back feet. I think the only first 4, and there would have been 1 without any nails. But yeah, really, really wonderful. So you have the Triceratops. But one really awesome thing we know about Triceratops as well. Oh, I'm stuck. Am I stuck? No, no, we're not stuck. But one really awesome thing about Triceratops as well is that we know that its skin. So we know that it was covered in these really, really interesting scales. The belly scales would have been very, very like rectangular, almost like on the belly of a crocodile. But over the body, there had been like really, really I think it's hexagonal scales, and some would have had like little, they affectionately termed nipple scales, so that some of the scales would like point out a bit. I think it really gives a really unique look to Triceratops. That's not reflected here because the textures haven't been really changed that much. But yeah, and also a little controversial idea is that the entire face of Triceratops may have been either scaled or one big layer of keratin. It's really either interpretation works for now, but we do have evidence that scales were on the frill, but that's been unpublished. It's kind of either or hypothesis right now. Some people like just go with either or just because one looks cooler than the other in terms of their reconstructions, but really both are equally valid at the moment until we get some more information on the integument from the frill. Still looks really nice. I'm a big fan. Other than the feet, looks perfect. Really love how he did the horns as well. I think it really just feels like a really nice Triceratops. And there's lots of variation within Triceratops skulls. So you can have all sorts of different horns going on. Really awesome. I would really like to see a mod with someone that's like really asymmetrical horns. Or something like Yoshi Strike with these really stupidly long horns. I love Yoshi Strike. Really awesome. Very cool specimen. So we will let these guys walk away and do their thing. I want you to go over there and not worry. Oh, looks like they're hungry boys. So walk off, do your thing before we introduce the last animal. So this one was also done by Thronaco. We got the in-game's biggest animal. I'm really excited to talk about this guy because they did something no other paleo edit has really done before, but it's still really awesome. So we're going to have a look at Thronaco's Dreadnoughtus. So let's speed this up a little bit so we can get out. Look at this wonderfully big man. We'll watch him do his thing. I want to get him in a nice spot so we can have a look at his feet and stuff. So we'll just wait until he gets out of that bush. So let's have a look at him now. So we can see how wonderfully huge he is. I think Dreadnoughtus got a bit of an upsize in the game, since they wanted to be the biggest, and Dreadnoughtus is one of the largest dinosaurs that we know from really good skeletons. I believe the weight estimates, I've talked about this before, I believe about 40 to 50 tons, something like that. So a very big animal. Very fitting of a Titanosaur. So we can see here, it's also known for pretty good remains as well, so we have a pretty good idea what it looks like, especially for a large Titanosaur, since most are pretty fragmentary. Like Argentinosaurus is only known from like a femur and a few vertebrae and things like that. Still really interesting. We can see the edits to the face. It doesn't have that really goofy face that we see in the original games one, but I really like how this one came out. Very almost pseudo-diplodocid skull, as we know. The skull was almost like re-evolving that shape because they were becoming more selective feeders, I believe, or something more diplodocid-like. We can also see the changes of the head. Also, the nostrils would have been the back of the head. I think they kind of reconstructed this with almost like a pseudo-resonating chamber, or like this would probably be a lot of cartilage where it would have been able to breathe. It's a valid interpretation. Also got lips. A lot of people used to reconstruct nostrils back on the head here, but if you look at monitor lizards, a lot of them will have nostrils at the back of the head there, but still have their nostrils down that way, so there would have been a lot more area for air to go in. Potentially even for a large animal, that could be a way to help them thermoregulate, which is very awesome. And then we can see this very long neck. Also see a little bit of a neural hump there, which is pretty cool. And I want to get down to the back here. I love the back of this guy. So we know that a lot of titanosaurs, such as Saltosaurus, Alamosaurus, and relatives would have had osteoderms down along their backs. So we can see here, this is probably the most common arrangement. There would have been like some small ones and then 2 rows of big ones going down the back. give it a really cool look, and also probably be very good for protection as well. And we can see that very, very long tail. It's much longer than it is in the original. We can see the legs have also changed a bit and got thunder thighs and very columnar legs, or columnar, like columns. And we can have a look at the feet here. It's not very good look, but oh, here's a better look. We can see that they're very similar to tortoise feet, with the three claws that are kind of curving that way, that would have helped with digging nests and digging in general. We can see also the big chest and a big barrel full of lots of bacteria and all sorts of organs to help, like a big stomach, big hindgut to help digest plants. We can see the front legs being thinned out a little bit. Sauropods have surprisingly thin legs, but that's because their legs are so columnar that they will be able to easily support their weight. And we can see that the feet are correct here, which are really, really awesome. Sauropods have this really cool fleshy horseshoe thing going on. So some, like Diplodocids and Brachiosaurus, some earlier sauropods will have pretty much one dew claw, but a lot of the later titanosaurs seem to have lost it completely, and they kind of just had this fleshy hoof going on that you see. Works well for them, it seemed. They got very, very big and were very, very successful right until the end of the Cretaceous. But yeah, really, really interesting guy. I'm a big fan of Dreadnoughtus. How can you not love Dreadnoughtus? So we're going to let this guy do a little bit of walking. And look how he just dwarfs everyone. I'm a big sauropod fan. One cool thing as well is that they have like a little hump here. It's very possible that these guys had a, I think you call it a nugal hump. You see it in giraffes and other animals where it's like a ligament that goes down and almost looks like a hump as it's acted down here. It's cool that you kind of see that in here. Look how huge you are. Very, very wonderful animal. Very, very big titanosaur. I like him. You can see the thick cardiofemoralis muscle would have been there as well, with the thinner tail. So yeah, you can go and have your fun, do your thing. So yeah, after seeing this wonderful Dreadnoughtus done by Dranaco, I think this is a perfect time to end the episode. So we will back out and see all our guys that are injured and dying. But no, that's okay. It's only a test park. So yeah, I really, really, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to click and... I forgot what I was going to say. Always remember to click the little bell icon to get notified when I upload anything. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And bye-bye.